Naruto, as usual, was sitting in Ichiraku and eating God knows what kind of cup of ramen. After eating and paying, the guy went to the residence of the Hokage. Walking, the blonde noticed small changes after his long-term absence. Where a small tree appeared and where it disappeared, several buildings were boarded up altogether. Indecent inscriptions were visible on the walls. Finally entering the building, Jinchuriki flew into the Hokage's office like lightning. "Bachan, I need a mission." Having blurted it out in one breath, the blonde fell silent. "If you call me that again, you won't get off with one bump." The woman showed the guy a fist. "Understood, not a fool." So what about the mission? That's good. About the mission, the woman thought, "Well, you're not going to help the elderly, are you?" Smiling, the fifth followed the changing expression of the guy's face. The blonde man gritted his teeth and tried to calm down. "Databayo, why am I small or something?" "Yes, it seems like he's already an adult guy. He's worked his way up to Jonin." "Well, that's not the point. I have one interesting mission." The Hokage sighed when she saw the smile on the guy's face and continued, "We need to escort the two-tailed Jinchuriki to her settlement." "And how did we have this person present?" The blonde asked the question that interested him so much. "And then he got the nuts from Tsunade, but this is none of your business." The guy grabbed his head and began to rub the bump on his head. "So what?" "I agree." The guy nodded with satisfaction. "Great, you're leaving in 30 minutes. Free." Naruto, like the wind, blew away. After 15 minutes CSR, why did I stuff so much there? But though, a smile flashed on Naruto's face, and then he folded several seals, from which the backpack became much lighter, and recovered on the way. "After 35 minutes you're late." The girl drilled the guy with an incredulous look. "I'm sorry, I got lost on the road of life." Having said this, the blonde smiled in all 32 teeth. "And we don't know each other. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and what's your name?" The question caught the girl off guard. Naruto, seeing the surprise on the face of a new acquaintance, smiled with satisfaction. "My name is Yugito ni." The girl pulled herself together a little irritably, said, "Well, are we going?" The guy smiled in agreement and they recovered on the way. After passing a small part of the way, the blonde managed to get the girl to talk. "I thought she was treated better, but I was wrong." Walking slowly, the girl was having an unconstrained conversation with the guy. "We just met, but it seems we've known each other since childhood. It was not for nothing that I met him." After thinking, the girl laughed loudly at another joke of the blonde. "How interesting he is." The girl was spinning in her head. So half a day's journey passed. The sun was slowly sinking to the horizon. The guy and the girl continued to walk to the designated point. "It's long past midnight. And he's still not sleeping. How stubborn. I have not met such people yet." The girl smiled mirthlessly. "So screw up." Okay, she would have been alone, but her new friend was with her, or, more than just a friend? "Okay, we'll think about it later at our leisure." And how could she not notice these damn Akatsuki? Anger gradually eclipsed the girl's consciousness and she began to slowly release Matatabi. The two-tailed one was surprised by such a strange behavior of her Jinchurika. She used to always keep herself in hand. What happened? Naruto felt a big surge of chakra. Turning around, he jumped back, and then quickly began to fold the seal's suppression. The guy barely uttered this, as 4 wooden poles with masks grew in front of the girl. "Thank you Yamato for teaching this technique not so long ago. It turns out I have the ability to Mokutan." "Thank you very much." As soon as the guy thought, the girl's body slowly began to settle to the ground. Quickly picking up the unconscious girl, the guy immediately laid her on a sleeping bag. CSR. What severe burns! The guy quickly folded the necessary seals. Rapid regeneration. The burns, though slowly, began to disappear. Beads of sweat were streaming from the guy's face. It turns out that if you don't use the kurama chakra, then you have a hard time. Seeing that there were no more burns left on the girl's body, the guy sighed with relief. Having put barriers on 4 sides, the blonde collapsed next to the girl. Yugito woke up because she was too hot. Turning around, she looked in surprise at how the blonde hugged her in her sleep. The girl's cheeks immediately flushed. She moved closer to the guy and slowly sank into sleep, while smiling contentedly. So they slept until the morning. Naruto woke up and realized that it was time to get up, but looking at the side was very surprised to see that the girl lay down snuggled up to him. At first I thought it was glitches from too overspent chakra, then I pinched myself. But everything remained in its place. Getting up, the blonde covered the girl with a blanket. He himself began to warm up. A few minutes later, a bonfire was burning merrily near the camp and the aroma of scrambled eggs and bacon was felt. The guy has already had a snack. He was waiting for the girl to wake up. She did not make herself wait long. Slowly stretching, she went to the fire and sat down on a log lying next to it. "Good morning, Naruto-kun," the girl said cheerfully. He just nodded quietly and pointed to the food. The girl realized that she was very hungry and immediately began to eat. Naruto was watching the girl closely and at the same time thinking about something of his own. The girl had a quick snack. After thanking the blonde, in the future she will always call him that, she smiled cheerfully. The guy also gave the girl a smile and started packing. Sealing in scrolls, Yugito closely followed the manipulations of the guy. When she got tired of sitting, she went to the lake. After looking around and finding no one, she threw off her clothes and dived from the shore, and diving successfully went to the bottom. Uzumaki noticed the disappearance of the girl, quickly put the scrolls in his vest, and went in search of. When he reached the shore, he found the loss and, not expecting such a thing from himself, admired it. It was already the 2nd hour, and the girl still did not go ashore, not to mention the blonde. He sat and stared fixedly at the girl's chest, and there was something to look at, then at the ass. If the girl was diving, Yugito noticed the guy a long time ago and decided that she had nothing to be shy about and continued her occupation. After swimming for a few more minutes, the girl went ashore. Looking at the guy, she realized that he was completely at her mercy. Quickly getting dressed and shaking the blonde, she smiled a little. The guy's gaze became conscious. Realizing what stupidity he had done when he came here, Naruto blushed all over and without saying anything just waved his hand, which meant, "We're going." He walked briskly, but it didn't work out to walk briskly for a long time. A natural reaction to a naked female body. The girl, looking at the guy, first giggled softly, and then burst out laughing at all. The blonde did not share her fun, looking around and looking for traps. The guy completely went to work. It's been 2 days on the road, and they haven't even reached that ill-fated village yet. The guy was gritting his heart, and of course he was thinking with his teeth how they could speed up and finish this mission as soon as possible. After all, another such trick on the part of a girl and self-control is lost. And how am I better than Jiraiya now? Nothing. It remains now only to start writing these damn books, and collecting information in the baths. From such thoughts, the guy immediately became sad somehow. The girl noticed that the blonde turned sour, tried to start a conversation, but nothing happened. They walked in silence. "Halt," Naruto said gloomily and jumped on a tree branch and raised his eyes to the sky. I wonder what Shikamaru was thinking after all. Probably about everything. The blonde man smiled a little, deciding to think about what had happened to him. But I didn't come up with anything better than the version that I fell in love. And not just, but I don't want to, so. He bit his finger until it bled and smiled with satisfaction. Pain is the best thing in this world. That's what the blonde was thinking. Yugito got tired of mindlessly wandering around the forest, and she went to the branch located directly above the blonde's head. After a while, the blonde dozed off. Naruto, having put up a strong barrier, also fell asleep. After a while, the girl slowly opened her eyes. I looked around and stretched a little. Looking down, I saw that the blonde was still asleep. She smiled at who knows what. Having silently descended to the ground, she began to warm up. When she got tired of it a few minutes later, she looked at the guy again. He continued to sleep. Apparently his chakra has not fully recovered yet, the girl thought. I wandered around the clearing for some more time and started cooking. Surprisingly, it turned out very well. Yugito smiled and, sitting on a fallen tree, began to eat. She also left food for the blonde. She's not greedy. Yugito smiled and, sitting on a fallen tree, began to eat. She also left food for the blonde. She's not greedy. Time passed. The night was ending. The sun was slowly appearing on the horizon. The girl involuntarily admired the beautiful view. Closing her eyes, Yugito heard the first bird songs. The girl opened her eyes. They reflected a strong desire, jumping on a branch to the blonde, noiselessly of course. She touched the guy's face a little. A little emboldened, she ran her hand through the guy's hair and smiled. How beautiful they are. The color of ripe wheat. The girl thought and at the same time stroked the guy. Emboldened completely, the girl shoved her playful hands under the guy's outer clothes and began to explore his body. Pumped up abs, the body was hard as a rock. Apparently, he trained a lot. Naruto slowly opened his eyes and looked at what was being done to him. The fact that the guy was surprised. That's putting it mildly. The girl's eyes were clouded, and she was smiling at something. The girl's hands continued to wander over the guy's body. Naruto watched the girl with interest. This was the first time they had done this to him. She didn't faint from touching him. She didn't turn away from him. And he was pleased, no matter how sad it was to realize it. Naruto leaned forward a little and saw that the girl's gaze cleared and a blush appeared on her cheeks. The guy smiled sweetly at the girl, which made her even more embarrassed. What did I do? What's happening to me? I'm drawn to him. I feel safe with him. It seems. No, it doesn't seem like it, but for sure. I fell in love. I fell in love. Oh my God. What should I do now? Although the blonde guy didn't seem to mind, and even smiled with such a blissful smile. Or maybe me, no, most likely he won't even want to listen to me. The flow of thoughts of the girl stopped there, because the guy thanked her for a hearty breakfast. The girl only managed a faint smile. Naruto quickly packed up his things, stuffed the scrolls into his pockets again, and took out a map. So we're here now. He put a dot in pencil, then drew a line from the beginning of the path and whistled. That's what we did around the route. Kumogakure is only a few days away. When Naruto finished speaking, he called Yugito, outlining the situation at the same time. In general, we still have 4 days to go, and it turns out that we will part soon. You're coming home and I'm coming home too. The girl paled slightly. To be all alone again. I wouldn't like to. We need to come up with something. Yugito, are you all right? The guy looked at the girl with concern. She only forced a smile. Let's go, the blonde man said and strode forward. The girl hurried to catch up with him. They had been walking for 10 hours without stopping. Finally, the long-awaited sounded halt. Having said this, the guy collapsed on the grass and closed his eyes. The girl did the same, and in her head, a plan was already maturing for her not to lose the blonde. She was so attached to him. And knowing her character, the plan is implemented immediately. And she won't back down. Tell me, Naruto-kun, do you have a girlfriend? Yugito froze. The guy turned to face the girl. A whole bunch of emotions were reflected on his face. And he finally said, alas, the girls shy away from me. Having said this, the blonde saw a satisfied smile on the girl's face. Are girls avoiding him? Just like guys shy away from me, she thought unhappily. Naruto closed his eyes again. Yugito got up from the ground and hovered over the guy. Her lips were directly opposite the lips of the blonde. She lowered her face even lower and her lips touched the guy's lips. He opened his eyes abruptly, the girl sealed her and the guy's lips with a gentle kiss once again. Naruto wasn't going to object. Now it wasn't the girl who was above the guy, but the guy over the girl. Naruto covered the girl's lips with kisses, then moved to the neck. A light moan escaped from the blonde's lips. She liked it, it's good, thoughts were spinning in the guy's head, one more lustful than the other, but he endured. And continued to kiss the girl. At the same time, they were closely watched. Is it time already? Toby said impatiently, shifting from one foot to the other. Now it's time. This voice belonged to Itachi. Abruptly coming out of the foliage, they headed for a couple who were now a little busy. Ahem, ahem, Itachi cleared his throat. The blonde immediately jumped up and looked at the arrivals, immediately lowered his head down. Closing the girl with him, the guy quickly began to fold the seals. In Naruto's head. Kurama, I need your chakra, okay, Naruto? Look carefully, I recognized a familiar chakra in the type with a mask. He's the one who set me on Konoha. Okay, I'll try. Meanwhile, the battle was already in full swing. Itachi attacked Naruto with fire techniques with might and main. The same one created about 5 dozen clones, each in his own hand formed a Rasengan. Wow, I didn't train for nothing. The clones ran screaming at the attackers. Toby did not have time to react and received 3 Rasengans at once. Bones crunched. The clones successfully hit the masochist in the body. Only rags remained of the cape. And blood flowed like a stream through the enemy's body. Toby slowly fell on his back. His body began to convulse. He died a few seconds later. Itachi was too busy with the blonde that he didn't notice anything. Yugito dropped out of the battle at the very beginning of the battle, falling under the genjutsu of Red Eye. Naruto began to push the enemy to the edge of the cliff. The clones were almost all flying. And their word of mouth was passed on to the creator. But he still held on. Itachi stopped and said Amaterasu. The ground in front of the blonde lit up with black fire. And 2 Zetsu emerged from the ground and safely took Itachi with Toby's body. One less problem, the blonde man said, and rushed to the girl who was sitting on the ground with an absent look. Slowly pouring the chakra into the girl's body, Naruto smiled with satisfaction. Yugito was recovering. The blonde man got up and started putting up barriers. When he finished and saw the girl, he was horrified. She was sobbing uncontrollably. Naruto sat down next to her and hugged her tightly. She began to calm down. Only soft sobs could be heard. When the girl got into genjutsu, you will experience the same moment for 68 hours. Naruto appeared in front of the girl, and then his body began to tear. The crunch of bones was heard. And there was an expression of hatred on the blonde man's face. The girl screamed. But I couldn't turn away. She was forced to watch it over and over again. The time when it was over, everything is fine, they are gone, the blonde comforted the girl. She snuggled even closer to the guy. The blonde man stroked the girl on the back. Yugito pulled herself together and stopped crying. After sitting there for an unknown amount of time, the blonde did not notice how she fell asleep. It felt so good in my arms. Naruto noticed that the girl's breathing had leveled off. And finally, he allowed himself to fall asleep. In the guy's head. Thank you very much, Kurama. The guy hugged the fox tightly. He just looked at the blonde man in bewilderment. The village wasn't too big. With the help of Henge, both Jinchuriki first walked through the market, purchasing the necessary products, which the guy immediately sealed. They went to the gun shop. The abundance of weapons scattered the eyes. And katanas, and explosive seals, shurikens, kunai. All of the most diverse forms. Having purchased the necessary weapons, in order not to arouse suspicion, they quickly disappeared from the market and went to look for a hotel. To the surprise of both, she was found very quickly. Hello, I'm Yum. What number do you need? Hello, one room for two. For 2 days, Naruto took it upon himself to talk to people. Sign here. Yeah, here are your keys. Have a good rest. The guy and the girl exchanged glances and laughed. The room was not searched for long. Having opened the right one, they flew into it. Only their heels sparkled. They immediately closed it. After removing the hinge, Naruto began to put food in the refrigerator, finished and began to clean the weapon. If you don't watch your weapon, then the weapon won't help you, the blonde remembered. Which made him smile. Yugito quickly threw off her things and went to the bathroom. Here she was waiting for a large space, in which a large bathtub, well, right, very large, apparently for two, an ordinary shower and a shiny toilet could easily fit. Is it made of gold or something? The girl laughed at her thoughts. Quickly throwing off her clothes and not closing the door behind her, this is her on purpose. She had a new plan, started to get hot water and added some balls to the bath that were lying on the stand immediately. The scent of lavender, mint and lemon filled the room. Turning off the water, Yugito climbed into the tub and slowly sank into the water. The warmth, though slowly, but still began to roll in pleasant waves over the blonde's body. She smiled with satisfaction. And relaxing completely, she closed her eyes. Naruto finished cleaning the weapon and decided that there was nothing better in the world than to take a hot bath. Having carefully folded his clothes on the way to the bathroom, he felt the hidden aromas that beckoned him and called him to enter. The guy did not hesitate to enter the room and seeing the already filled bath, gently began to sink into the hot water. How good, the blonde was smiling blissfully. Then there was a savory kentic. And we miss it. Bugagaga, Naruto opened his eyes. At first I couldn't figure out where I was and then the memories of the next night came flooding back. His trademark 32-tooth smile appeared on the guy's face. The blonde decided not to get up until Yugi wakes up. These 2 days flew by instantly. Naruto and Yugito made love all their free time. Both the guy and the girl felt very good. After leaving the village, the couple set off. At first they walked in silence, but the silence began to press, so Naruto broke the silence. What should we do now? The question sounded ominous. But it just seemed that way. Both Jinchuriki thought about it. Suddenly, an idea came to Naruto's head. On the last mission I managed to visit the land of snow. There I received one very interesting scroll. It says Fr. They didn't let him finish. There was a crunch from behind the trees. Yugito and Naruto released all the chakra and their bodies began to be covered with a veil. The girl's is blue-black, the guy's is bright orange. This time they were ready to meet I in the bush as well. That's it. I'm off. Zae, Alex is already here to feed the mosquitoes. And us.ka stay here, idiot. They killed Toby. And fatally wounded Itachi. We should think about our actions somehow. Yes, what on? A lot to think about. Gone. He's fucking. May you die. Yes, yes. I heard you. The leader asked them not to kill. My sacrifice to the beautiful Jashin-sama. There was silence. Only one of the people sitting grumbled profanity to himself all the time. Exactly. How could I forget? Henge. So. Deidara. He's never seen you, so you're going. Oh, yes, I'll think about it. Oh wow. Okay. He'll think BLT. Gone. He's a fucker. You shut up altogether. Silence fell again. Deidara applied henge. Now, instead of a raincoat, he was wearing blue jeans and a black leather jacket. He didn't change his face. At the moment in the clearing, the guy and the girl were completely covered. Deidara flew out of the bushes at them. Immediately landing next to them, he began to chatter. Guys, just don't kill. Yes, the leader Sama gives you a chance to join the organization. After, yes, how you killed Toby, well, that is, we stopped looking for Madara, tailed, yes. It's up to you, to join or not to join. Yes, that was the end of the guy's words. He handed Naruto a scroll. Everything is written here, yes. If that, I'm Deidara, and again he dived into the bushes. Footsteps were heard receding. The Jinchuriki looked at each other in surprise and stared at the scroll. The covering began to gradually come off their bodies. The guy unfolded the scroll and began reading, Dear Naruto and Yugito, we will be glad to welcome you to our ranks of renegade shinobi. Due to the fact that you mortally wounded my ward, and killed the other one altogether. I thought, deciding that you need to arrive at the village of Rain, where Konan Hayumi will meet you and give you short instructions. If you are interested in the offer, pass the chakra through the paper and I will find out everything. Sincerely, Nagato. P.S. that I would be very grateful to you if you killed one very swearing person. Thank you in advance. The guy and the girl exchanged glances. Here's the way out. That's where they won't part. The great Kami had mercy on them, deciding that they had nothing to lose. The guy passed the chakra through the paper. And then he looked at the girl. She was smiling. She smiled sincerely. Having decided to make a small halt, the guys sat down under a tree. The girl clung to Naruto, who hugged her tightly and smiled. Suddenly, the guy smiled insidiously. The girl didn't notice anything. Naruto got his hand into Yugi's breeches and pulling off her panties began to caress the blonde's pussy. The girl had already started to rise and immediately sank back down. Barely audible moans escaped from her lips when the guy inserted his fingers into her bosom, continuing to caress Yugito's pussy. Naruto sealed their lips with a kiss. He penetrated his tongue into the girl's mouth and began to play with the girl's tongue. The sun has long since set below the horizon. The couple was so tired of this day that they fell asleep without putting up protection. But no one was going to touch them that night. It turned out to be interesting. The journey did not end, but was just beginning. The path for them was far, but at the same time close. They will stay together. There was no limit to the joy of both. There are smiles on their faces. There is only joy in my head. Naruto decided to release the fox into the wild. Let him have fun. He's been with him for a very long time. Moreover, the blonde promised him. The guy told the girl about his idea. She decided to support the blonde. In Naruto's head, Kurama, I'm letting you go, but promise that you won't leave me. I'm very attached to you. The fox was very surprised. Is the kid letting him go? Really freedom? Is it really possible not to control yourself, Naruto? I promise that I will come back. I may be gone for a few days. But I will definitely come back. The guy snuggled up to the fox, who patted the blonde on the shoulder and smiled. Naruto stood on Kurama's clawed paw. Kyuubi lifted the boy up to the hanging seal. The blonde man grabbed the paper edge and pulled it towards him. After a few seconds, the seal opened. The cage opened immediately. Now I'll explain something to you. Remember these seals? The fox began to show a monkey, a snake, a dog, a horse, a monkey. Now repeat. The guy folded the seals exactly like Kurama. Well done, and now say, I'm letting you go free. The blonde man folded the seals once more and said, I'm letting you go free. The fox smiled all over his mouth. His body, albeit slowly, began to disappear from the boy's body. Yugito saw Naruto's body enveloped by a red chakra, and then slowly Kyuubi no Yoko himself began to appear next to the blonde. The blonde man opened his eyes. He smiled at the fox. Yugito, repeat these gestures when you release the two-tail and say, I'm letting you go free. The blonde had no problems and she was able to release Matatabi quite easily. At first, the fox walked around the newcomer incredulously. Then he touched. Naruto laughed great seeing such concentration on his friend's face. The fox only snorted conciliatingly, and from the abundance of sounds he sneezed so great that a stream of air that flew out of Kurama's nose blew down a tree. A cat with blue-black fur came up and rubbed against Kurama, purring something gently. The fox was unrecognizable. Gradually, he transformed his chakra, and a tall red-haired guy stood in front of the guys. Matatabi repeated the materialization and was also now in human form. Tall slender brunette. With black and blue hair. She really liked it. Kurama promised that he would look after his new friend. He wanted to try something out. The demons appeared in his eyes and began their crazy dances. After saying goodbye, Naruto mentally told Kyubi where to find them and they headed towards the rain country. After 3 days of travel, we are very tired. But they arrived at their destination. Naruto read the scroll again, and he and the girl went to the meeting place. It turned out they had been waiting for a long time. Konan carefully looked first at the guy, and then at the blonde. After checking with what was written, she nodded and took Naruto and Yugito by the hands and moved them directly to the Akatsuki organization. Kisame's face was so surprised that he even dropped a spoon with yogurt. Kakuzu didn't pay any attention to anyone at all. Then, of course, he turned, approaching the newcomers. He spoke with hope in his voice. Money? Alas! The newcomers didn't trust anyone here yet. And poor Kakuzu was left without money. Seeing a familiar face, Naruto broke into a smile. Deidara, long time no see. He looked at the guy carefully and rubbed his hands. Here it is. None of these two know him as well as his colleagues. That's who you can have a great time on. Itachi appeared in the corridor and, limping slightly, saw the guests and the day appeared next to him. It didn't bode well. And the blonde man with the mechanical eye has already prepared his special clay. The birds were ready. He launched them. Naruto and Yugito exchanged glances. And only Itachi shouted, "Get down!" Yes, so loud that absolutely everyone's ears were blocked. The couple immediately collapsed to the floor and then Deidara spoke quite calmly. Well, why did you ruin everything? Oh, I might not have hurt them. Of course I didn't hurt them, Kisame neighed. They would have been collected piece by piece later. Sasori, who was sitting quietly, also joined the laughter of the blue-headed one. Who better than him to know what would have happened if it hadn't been for Itachi? When everyone calmed down, Konan led her charges through a door that was not visible from everyone. The blonde and the girl found themselves in a large room where there was a large table littered with papers. And in the middle of the room there were 6 motionless bodies with protruding glands from the bodies. The blue-haired one went even further. She clicked on a hidden panel in the wall. Suddenly, the wall slid aside and a very interesting picture opened up to 2 Jinchuriki. In the middle of the room was a strange red-haired guy. His entire body, up to chest level, was pierced by large iron rods. And the rods went into some strange piece of iron that grew right out of the ground. The guy's eyes glared at the newcomers and began to stare at them intently. Nagato wasn't interested in the blonde. No. He was interested in the guy. He could feel the warmth radiating from him. I felt that they were close, barely audible. Brother, Naruto came to life. He looked closely at the guy's face. Uzumaki. You're Nagato Uzumaki. Naruto said. He looked at Konan. How to remove this construction? It can't be removed. This technique eats my chakra. But thanks to her, I can be in a state similar to life. I will definitely help him. No matter what it costs me. The blonde promised himself. And now, Konan. Be so kind as to show Naruto and, his gaze slid over the blonde, and Yugito their room. Konan nodded and left the room. The couple followed her. A few minutes of wandering through the corridors and voila! The guy and the girl entered their room. The blue-haired woman handed them the plan and left. Naruto began to study the poorly furnished room. The space was large. 2 small beds standing on different walls of the room. A stripped closet for things and nothing else. Well, it won't take long to fix it. Then Naruto settled down on one of the beds. Yugito was standing near the front door and it is clear that she was very nervous. "Yugi, don't be afraid, come to me." The girl smiled slightly and lay down next to the blonde. "Naru, are we here for a long time?" The look betrayed the girl. She was hoping to find another place. "Let's take a look at Yugi, let's see." "I liked it here." Restless Deidara immediately after leaving Konan hovered under the door. He wanted to show what he was capable of. And prove that there is only one art. Explosion. The clay birds have been waiting in the wings for a long time. Day slowly opened the door, started his toys, but they didn't give him anything to say. "Oh, there you are." Naruto smiled at the newcomer. "It's good that you came. Here, take this." Several garbage bags were handed to him. Why? Deidara wanted to shout. But the blonde calmed him down, arguing the removal of garbage by the fact that it will calmly open its copies. Day smiled with satisfaction. Whistling a cheerful melody, he moved forward along the corridor. Naruto returned to his room. Yugi had already unpacked all the scrolls and the room became a little cramped. The blonde man began to fold the seals. Makiden, wood style, a very beautiful carved chest of drawers, the color of ripe cherries, began to appear in the middle of the room. The girl was insanely happy. Well, finally, such a cute locker appeared for her little things. Naruto finished. The guy pushed the chest of drawers against the wall, since there was nothing there. Yugito began to lay out her clothes. Thanks to Naru, she calmly took all her clothes from Kumagakuro unnoticed. A timid knock was heard. "Come in." The doors opened and Kisame appeared in them. "Leader Sama calls you for a report." "Okay, we'll be right there." The blonde nodded and the blue-skinned guy left. "Honey, you'll finish it later." Naruto forced a smile. After all, would techniques take too much chakra? And Kurama has disappeared somewhere. Later in Pain's office, Naruto, Yugito. "Now you need to go around the world and invite the rest of the tailed ones. If they are near us, you will feel safer. Here are your rings. Raincoats and hats are in your room. Now about the division into pairs. Yugito, you'll be paired with Konan. Now Naruto. Since there is no suitable match for you. Wait, though. I know who to pair you with. Now Deidara will be your partner. You can go now." Hi, an old habit, but still nothing can be done. Pain smiled. Konan's eyes widened. Was he smiling? For the first time since Yahiko's death. This guy is able to change it. It's good. Finally. The blue-haired girl smiled the warmest smile looking after Naruto. Nagato was actually smiling now. He found his brother. It was a real relief for him. He's not alone. He will have a family. His eyes twinkled a little. But only one tear rolled down my body. The heart treacherously accelerated its rhythm. Gradually, the guy thawed out. The ice that so pleasantly covered and bound the body and soul was melting. The red-haired guy was starting life anew. Naruto and Yugito went to change clothes and go on a mission. A few minutes later, the girl and the guy went to the exit. They were waiting there. Deidara shifted from one foot to the other with impatience. Konan only watched him skeptically. When she saw the blonde, she smiled warmly. This was beginning to annoy Yugito. The blue-haired woman, seeing the puzzled expression on the blonde's face, hurriedly explained everything to her. Now Yugi was also smiling warmly at Konan. They immediately found a common language. Having decided to go to visit the eight-tailed girl, they smiled cheerfully and set off on their way. The guys were still thinking about who they would go for. Naruto wanted to invite Gaara. But then he stopped. Biju was extracted from it. Damn it! Damn you, Toby, the blonde man thought angrily. All emotions were reflected on his face, and Deidara, frightened, stepped back. I'm sorry. Remember what I promised you? The blonde man smiled cheerfully. Why yes, I remember. Day's voice trembled a little. That's great. Jinchuriki instantly folded the seals and 36 shadow clones appeared in front of the guys. Here's a little entertainment for you. The eyes of the second blonde man blazed with fire. He licked his dry lips and immediately began to work with his clay. It is better to know what happened in the clearing remotely. I will only say that blood and scraps of pieces of skin were lying everywhere. After death, the clones immediately disappeared. Naruto frowned more and more after each dispelled clone. Finally, the bomb technician destroyed the last shadow clone by expending all his clay and chakra. It's amazing how he held up after all the experience on his feet. Naruto realized that the torment was over and he took a deep breath. A trickle of blood was flowing down Day's forehead. It looks like clones are not so useless after all. Having rested, the guys again thought about where they should go. We argued for a long time. We decided to go in search of the three-tailed. Slowly got up and went in search of Naruto, and Deidara have been traveling for quite some time. They examined each lake for the creatures living in it, but they could not find a three-tailed turtle. A month has already passed since the start of the trip. Naruto began to worry about Kurama. He had been gone too long. Naruto, can you hear me? The guy started up, which once again almost brought Deidara to a heart attack. Then realizing that he had done something stupid, he calmed down the day and sat back down on the ground. Yes, I can hear you. Where have you been? I missed you. Sorry, Maddie and I were traveling. Maddie? The guy's lips stretched into a smile. Hey, don't push yourself. Otherwise it will be bad. Although Matatabi is kind, but her nerves are not iron. Good, good. Where are you? We are already on the way to you. Yes, I'm not alone. Maddie and others are with me. Others? Who? Then you'll find out. I'm waiting for you. Naruto looked at Day. He was brazenly sleeping on the grass. Hey, get up, come on. The blonde man brazenly kicked the sleeper. Deidara stirred. Suddenly, a lizard made of white clay crawled out of his bag and stared at Naruto. Goosebumps ran down the blonde's body. He got up slowly and then went to get some air. Something rustled in the bushes. A red-haired man came out into the clearing. His hair seemed to be on fire. And the red eyes stared at the blonde man with a grin. There was a rustling again and a girl with blue-black hair appeared. The feeling was the same. Their hair seemed to be on fire. Kurama? The blonde man smiled cheerfully. Well, finally. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad too. It was pretty boring without your chatter. And Maddie missed Yugito. You said you didn't come alone. Who else is with you? How should I tell you? The fox hesitated a little. In general, we gathered Biju and their owners. Except for the eight-tailed one. Reikage didn't like it terribly that Kirabai and his Biju would be dragged in an unknown direction. Not bad, isn't it? Kurama smiled cheerfully. Well, what do you give? There was no limit to Naruto's surprise. Kurama, aren't you going anywhere else? No. We visited all the familiar places. Great. I need your help. The fox just grinned. Well, where without it? And now back to Konan and Yugito. The girls got to the right place pretty quickly. But they were disappointed. They agreed with B right away. And Gyuki didn't mind. It was necessary to talk to the Reikage. A little while later, I'm warning you for the last time, he's not going anywhere from here. Go ahead. He looked angrily at the red-haired guy and the strange girl standing next to him. Kurama tried to come back. Let's get out of here, Kage barked. The guy and the girl were gone. At the exit of the building, they ran into two other girls. Yugito looked attentively at the individuals who flew at them and almost screamed. Matatabi and Naruto the fox were standing nearby. What Yugi didn't expect was to meet them here. Shit, I don't even advise you to try. The fox read the girl's thoughts, so, go back where you came from. Yugito just nodded and pulled Konan along. She tried to escape. Then the blonde looked angrily at the blue-haired one. She immediately didn't want to resist. The red-haired man and the girl standing next to him disappeared. There was a pop. Now the road home lay ahead. Home? Strange. I thought it was just for a while. And she apparently has already come to terms with it. Naruto returned to the clearing where his teammate was sleeping. Kicked that one. But there was only a slight murmur. Naruto was able to make out get out, otherwise it will be worse. The guy thought about it. Kurama and Mati came out into the clearing. They laughed merrily when they realized what was happening. A plan has matured in the blonde's head. He pulled an iron bucket out of the scroll, don't ask how it turned out there, and ran to the river flowing nearby. He quickly scooped up some water and went back, chuckling a little. Coming up, he kicked the sleeping man again. He continued to lie in place. Well, he asked for it himself, Jinchuriki said angrily. And he poured water on Deidara. He jumped up abruptly and slipped on the grass again, fell on his back. Naruto, you're, a corpse. Kurama was no longer standing. He was lying on the grass and laughing. Matatabi was leaning against a tree and laughing too. They paid attention to those standing nearby. And who are these, such? The blonde man asked in surprise. Naruto began to introduce those present in the clearing. So you're the nine-tailed one who destroyed Konoha? The fox nodded. Cool. Kurama did not expect this. Now Naruto was making fun of him. As the fox's face stretched out, and surprise appeared in his eyes, Jinchuriki burst out laughing. So, joking with each other, the guys set off on their way back. Akatsuki organization, both blondes reported to Pain and went to their rooms with a calm soul. The door slowly opened. The guy entered and closed the doors behind him. He threw off his dirty clothes in a corner, remaining in what his mother gave birth to. He slowly walked over to the empty bed and collapsed. Doing all this in the dark was not so convenient. But dropping a few things Naruto managed. Someone was fidgeting under him and slowly got up. The blonde jumped up, grabbed a floor lamp standing next to him and was about to hit the unexpected guest, but he heard a familiar voice. Who's here? Yugi, are you back yet? The blonde smiled cheerfully and returned to the bed. He hugged the girl tightly and kissed her. Yes, it's been like 2 days. I've been sleeping it off. The couple started kissing, and then moved on to action. These days without each other were slowly killing both the guy and the girl. Yugi and Naruto enjoyed every minute of being around, and the screams were heard throughout the organization. No one slept that night. Konan, hearing the screams, blushed slightly. She wanted him. I wanted this eternally smiling blonde. But what could she do? He was busy. She loved Yahiko for a long time. And even after death, she did not stop loving. But now Konan Hayumi has broken down. Desire slowly filled her at first. Now it was getting harder to endure. Deidara started to get angry from the screams. Why is this impudent man here? Maybe he wants it too. Maybe he needs a girlfriend too. Fucking Naruto. Kurama listened to the thoughts of everyone here. Everyone somehow wanted to be in the place of the restless blonde. The smile on the fox's face grew wider and wider. And finally, unable to stand it, the fox quietly giggled. Matty was sleeping in Kurama's arms. The screams ended only in the morning and everyone was finally able to indulge in sleep, a little earlier in the clearing, Naruto. When we visited each of the Biju, we were stopped. It would be fine if it were the shinobi of their villages. But, it was Kanakovtsi. I can't understand why they need it. Wait. You mean to say that every Jinchuriki now has a guard, but how did you talk to them? Very simple. Through the subconscious. They agreed. They are tired of not going outside their villages. They were very happy when we offered to join us. And then it's a matter of technique. Biju get along well with Jinchuriki. And people also agreed, okay. Thanks for telling me. The guy thought about what he had said. He wasn't happy about the news. Next morning, Naruto woke up and went to the kitchen. Everyone was watching him closely. From such attention, the blonde was uncomfortable. He began to guess that it had something to do with last night. There were dark circles under the eyes of many. A cheerful Kakuzu stumbled into the kitchen. Thank you, Naruto. I finally got enough sleep. The guy winked at the blonde. Naruto looked at the newcomer in bewilderment. Those sitting in the kitchen could not stand it and began to laugh brazenly. They knew what a pervert Kakuzu was. And Jinchuriki had yet to find out. The guy walked slowly towards the organization. There was no emotion on his face. The shoulder was torn to the bone. But the blonde man didn't pay attention to it. 2 days ago. Pain, I need to go and visit a couple of old acquaintances. Of course. You can go now. Just don't be late. Nagato's chest hurt. This trip did not bode well for Naruto. Konan, standing next to her, wanted to say something, but remained silent. The blonde man walked slowly along the road. He really needed to visit a couple of people. The plan that has arisen in his head must come to fruition, no matter what. First you need to look into Konoha. Tell grandma that he's going to be fine and then you can go to Otogakure. I hope Sasuke hasn't killed Orochimaru yet. Otherwise I'll have a hard time. Second, third, a minute, 2. An hour, 2, 3, 4, the sun was mercilessly scorching. And on the way, as for evil, there was not a single tree. Getting to Konoha via the Suno was a big mistake. But the plan demanded it. Minute. 1 more. An hour, 1 more. The mood dropped completely. Fortunately, the sun has almost gone below the horizon. It was possible to go without fear that you would burn. Only the sand was poured where it was not needed. But these are small things that I didn't feel like sleeping at all. I needed to talk to someone. And urgently. Exactly, the blonde man had an idea. Kurama. He can communicate with me mentally. Kurama, do you hear me? Oh, what? The fox said sleepily. There's something I need to know from you. You've been around for quite some time. And you probably know a lot of techniques. Yes. I've seen quite a few techniques. Oh, what are you so interested in? I need to find out. If I apply the Edo Tensei technique to resurrect the people I need, it will be possible to make them not puppets, but become completely alive people. Let me think a little. This is a forbidden technique that allows you to bring a dead person back to life. It was created by the second Hokage Senju Tobirama, who gave it the status of forbidden. It is considered one of the strongest summoning techniques in the world. The only ones who have mastered this technique besides Tobirama are Orochimaru. That's what you need to go to him. So now about the phases. The first phase, you need to get a DNA sample of the resurrected, and then find a body that will become a receptacle of the soul. The second phase is the call of the right person. The person who was called appears in a wooden coffin and has the same skills and character that he had during his life. However, if you completely subdue the mind of the resurrected one, then he will become an ordinary puppet. Wow. I will not ask how you know all this. And what symbols need to be folded, do you happen to know? No. I may be a walking encyclopedia, but I'm not a library. Okay, thanks kurama, and the blonde broke the connection. So I need DNA and 2 bodies. Well, there is nothing complicated with the DNA of the first one. Yes, and the body is present. Just pull out the pieces of iron. But with the DNA of the second. I hope Orochimaru has samples. Otherwise I'm lost. Naruto got to Konoha. Hovered a little in front of the entrance, then entered. 3 eyes stared at the blonde. The guards' faces fell. You're back. It was Kakashi. Guy silently watched the meeting of the teacher and the student. Yes, but not for long. Is Tsunade at home? Yes, she's at the residence. Where have you been? It's a long story. Maybe I'll tell you later sometime. Guy grunted with satisfaction. How is Lee doing? Still honing her skills. It's even good. And his skills are already honed pretty well. Clearly, the blonde disappeared, leaving Guy and Kakashi looking at each other. Meanwhile in the residence, Naruto, Sakura rushed to hug the guy. Wow, what muscles he has. It looks like he didn't waste any time. The girl was partly right. The blonde trained all his free time. Even on missions, he did not interrupt training. Hi Sakura-chan, the blonde smiled cheerfully. And she's changed. The body has become more feminine. The breasts have become larger by 2 sizes. And how does she walk with it? The ass is rounded. Slim waist. Not a girl. A dream. Bachan, how glad I am to see you in good health. And where have you been, scoundrel? They are going to declare war on our village. You see, Yugito ni has not returned to her village. And how is this understood? The eyes were boring into the blonde. But he didn't even blink an eye. You know. Tsunade-sama, and the blonde man told the story of his journey with Yugito. He wasn't going to voice some points. Still personal, the story took about 2 hours. Yeah. So you're in Akatsuki now. What should I do now? You will convince them that the tailed ones were gathered in one place and now they will not go anywhere from there. And one more thing. I need the personal file of Rin, who was trained by my father. A personal matter? You're crazy. The elders will cut me into pieces, don't worry. I won't take it. I just need to see. And after her death, her things probably remained. Maybe there is her t-shirt with traces of blood, I do not know, with hair. Do you understand what you want? This is not possible. Kakashi heard the entire conversation between those in the office. What was he up to? Sakura grew paler and paler. What happened to that cute Naruto boy? There was a pop. A copying ninja appeared in the office. I have something you need. But tell me, why do you need it? Alas, Kakashi-sensei. You will find out about this very first. But a little later, Naruto disappeared from the office, leaving those present standing in a stupor. And then he appeared in a clearing located 400 meters away from the village, hidden in the foliage. Thanks to the Thunder God's flight technique. After all, his father was very fast thanks to her. Father, how I've missed you all these years. After standing for a while, the blonde went to the village of sound. It was a long way to go. And the conversation was going to be difficult. A few days later. On the approach to Otagakura, the blonde slowed down. I had to change something with my appearance. Having changed the henge, the guy smiled with satisfaction. There is a sign on his neck indicating that he belongs to the village of sound. The clothes were black. The guy entered the open gate and went to the Otokage residence. Orochimaru, as always, was sitting at his desk and filling out papers. How tired he was of this red tape. If only something out of the ordinary had already happened. Suddenly, an explosion shook the wall of the building. And Kabuto flew through the door with a big hole in his chest. A strange boy slowly entered the room. Stop. He's been dead for a long time. You, stop hiding your face. Tell me why you came. Apparently there really is no point in hiding. The guy took off the henge. In front of Kage stood an ordinary blonde boy. But there was a hidden power in him. Orochimaru looked at the boy with interest. You have to help me, yes? For what reason? I got the materials I needed for the equipment. I need a body. Kid, what are you talking about now? What kind of body, what materials? About Edo Tensei. Snake Sannin's eyes bulged on his forehead. Is he really that strong? Tell me, which seals do I need to fold? Sannin grinned cheerfully. He was starting to like this blonde guy. I'll give you the body. But you'll show me who you want to resurrect. Okay, the moment of resurrection. Everything is in its place. The blonde man folds the irreducible seals. Tiger Snake Dog Dragon Tiger Snake Dog Dragon Cotton Kuchioshi Edo Tensei. Modification, Naruto said. A white wooden coffin emerged from the ground. The lid slowly slid to the side. The girl's eyes opened. Their color was not black, as Orochimaru expected. They were brown. Just like when the girl was alive. The blonde man slowly settled down. Still, the technique takes a lot of chakra. Rin slowly came out of the coffin. It disappeared with a pop. Who are you? And why am I here? The blonde leaned on a nearby table and began to introduce the girl to the course of business. Unbelievable. She's alive. Not a crack. I wonder if she's mortal. The last question was drowned in a shout of joy. Is Kakashi alive? I want to see him. Yes, of course. I'll take you to him. The blonde man forced a smile. Working together with Orochimaru was not in vain. They have been working on this technique for a whole month. Sometimes making changes. And they did it. Hooray, thank you, Orochimaru-sama. Naruto smiled cheerfully. You're welcome. If you have free time, come in. You're always welcome here. Sannin was smiling now. Naruto took Rin by the hand and moved her outside of Otogakure. The girl was a wonderful conversationalist. She told me what happened to her in the other world. The road to Konoha did not take much time. Rin was very worried. She didn't know how Kakashi would take it. Hokage residence. I gathered you here for a reason. I have great news for you, Kakashi. Well, for the rest, too. Rin was watching closely. The technique by which the blonde forced the girl's body to become invisible pleased her, so. Kakashi, under no circumstances lose self-control. Rin. You can show up. The white-haired shinobi's eye twitched. Rin was standing in front of him, alive and well. His Rin. The girl threw herself on Jonan's neck and burst into tears. The jaw of the fifth was lying on the floor. The blonde man decided that his work here was finished. Kakashi smiled and disappeared after the last Naruto returned to the organization. Nagato's joy cannot be described in words. Although no one saw it, the red-haired guy was smiling to himself. Lightning flew into Pain's office. Nagato, I know how to get Yahiko back. There was no limit to the blonde's joy. The door to the secret room slowly opened. I heard. Come on, tell me. It was clear how the red-haired guy's eyes lit up. Naruto told Tom about how he resurrected Rin. About working together with Orochimaru. The story took several minutes. Interesting. But the fact is that Yahiko's soul is in a completely living body. But it's also him, in appearance. And not him. Nagato said bitterly, yeah. That's the problem drawn, the blonde drooped. Then, can I go to research some scrolls in libraries of different countries? Of course. You can go right now. Take Konan with you. She can help you, okay? Tell Yugito I'll be back soon. Naruto and Konan decided to visit all available libraries in all countries. We wanted to start with the library of the Village of Sound. There's probably something there. Halfway along the way, Konan stopped. Naruto followed her example. He abruptly felt someone's presence. The girl's body began to acquire paper outlines. A man with a long sword appeared in the clearing. His hair was red. The stranger himself was dressed in a long black cloak. He had a white mask on his face. And something red was streaming behind the stranger. He has so much spiritual energy. CSR. It will not be easy to defeat him. Shadow cloning technique. The clearing was filled with clones. The red-haired man ran at Naruto. He easily dodged. The clones started attacking the guy in the raincoat. -2,000 blows. Naruto shouted. More than 2,000 blows fell on the redhead. There was a crunch of breaking bones. The guy disappeared as suddenly as he appeared. A bluish glow formed. A girl jumped out of it. She was dressed strangely. Dark pants. Light orange top. And green laughing eyes. But the girl didn't look very good. Apparently she was attacked. There were lacerations on the clothes in places. The girl's shoulder was bleeding. She was already holding on with the last of her strength. Help. Slowly, the stranger's body began to fall. The blonde man picked her up. Konan was speechless. He just took it. I want to take her place. I need to take her place. Who is she anyway? I can't feel her chakra. But it is clearly visible to the naked eye that there is a lot of spiritual energy in it. It's bad. There were 2 of them. So there is somewhere else. You need to be on the alert. Naruto folded several seals. Hyperregeneration, the wound began to heal. The girl slowly opened her eyes. She tried to get up, but the blonde laid her back down. What's your name? Yoruichi Shirhan. The girl tried to get up again. Lie down. You need to rest. Konan said and sat down next to the stranger. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. And this is Konan Hayumi. How did you get here? I can't feel your chakra. But you have a lot of other sources of power. Naruto stammered. I'm from the community of souls. We use spiritual power. And how I got here I don't understand. I was training my student. Suddenly, an unusual blue glow appeared and Ichigo and I were caught up. May I ask what Ichigo looks like? Red hair. It always caught the eye. He was wearing a black raincoat. And he has a long black sword. Oops. I think I broke a couple of his bones, the blonde man said guiltily. And I'm starting to like this kid. He has potential. Was he able to break a couple of Ichigo's bones? So he has no less power than I do, if not more. And his appearance is nothing like that. Interesting hair color, thought the girl with purple hair. Suddenly, when she thought about the blonde, the bottom of her stomach warmed up unusually pleasantly. What's the matter with me? No. It can't be that way. Naruto carefully examined the girl. She was pretty. Soft facial features. A beautiful body belonging to the sizes 90-60-90. Beautiful breasts. Yes. Beautiful. Konan was slowly getting angry. Naruto calmly stared at her, and she at least said something. Damn her. The blue-haired girl got to her feet. Naruto got up after lifting a new member of their group. And they moved towards Odagakure, in Orochimaru's office. Hey, Sannin, what the hell is going on here? People from another world come to us. What are you doing here anyway? Oh, Naruto. I'm so glad to see you. Understand. I found a very old jutsu. It described how to open the interdimensional gate. I tried it. It didn't work out the first time. It turns out that it was necessary to spend almost the entire chakra in order for them to appear. Finally, after the 10th attempt, I did it. But no matter how much I tried to open the interdimensional gate, nothing came out. So it's not my fault. It's not your fault, the blonde man said dumbfounded. Do you even know what you've done? Rage boiled in Naruto stronger and stronger. Do you understand that it was your fault that I almost killed someone else's Shinigami? Do you understand that now one of them will remain in our world forever? You don't understand anything. You're just an overplayed idiot. Who would still like to play with toys in kindergarten? It's necessary. No. These gates could only be opened once. 1. Orochimaru stared dumbfounded at the blonde. No, it can't be. You opened the gates, and entrances and exits appeared all over the world. And it is not known who entered and who left. Was it really difficult to call me? And the fox, the look burning with rage, and the eyes shining with an unhealthy luster, stared at the snake. Sannin. Naruto intercepted Orochimaru by the breasts and put it well on the floor. There was a crunch. The snake's eyes widened. Only now did he realize what a stupid thing he had done. It was beginning to dawn on him. He didn't even resist. The blonde man recoiled. In a rage, he broke an adult's leg in 3 places, and the fractures were open. This happened without the Kyuubi chakra. He himself. What's wrong with me? How did I do it? How is it in general? Damn. Heck. What have I done? The blonde immediately began to treat the victim's leg. 2 hours have passed since the conversation between the Hokage of Sound and Naruto. He was happily allowed to use the library for as long as he needed. A blonde man with 2 girls entered a large room. Everything was filled with books. Everywhere you looked, books were standing, lying around. We need to find the part that talks about medical techniques. Naruto had already explained something to Yoruichi about their world. She grasped everything on the fly. What a strange world. But so interesting. I wish I could go back. How will Ichigo train? Naruto remembered something and pulled Shiroi after him. He needed to talk to her face to face. Konan did not notice their absence and continued to search for the necessary books and scrolls. What's happening to me? Explain it to me, please. I'm not in control of myself. I was able to injure a person without putting absolutely no effort. Yoruichi followed the guy with interest. Really? Well, no. This is nonsense. They can't have that, or maybe. Oh my God. I think I understand what happened. When you used regeneration on me, my spiritual power, most likely a small part of it, got into your body. Now you're kind of a hybrid. It sounds weird. I understand. But now both chakra and spiritual force are circulating in your body, and you also talked about the Sannin regime. All this can lead to some mutations. That is, the cells in the body will begin to rebuild. And a fatal outcome is possible. I don't know for sure. This is the first time I've encountered this. Your body can handle it. But, how should I tell you? You will lose consciousness and have no control over what happens to you, so. Damn Orochimaru, this has already happened once in our community. It happened about 400 years ago. We accidentally got a strangely dressed man. He kept talking about jutsu, the chakra. About some tailed ones. And his eyes were very strange. And swirling spirals. He also had something like a mutation. He could not bear such pain and died in agony. His body is still there. It is not subject to any attacks, natural changes. It's very strange, so I was right. This man, his name was Rikudo. He is the first one who was able to control the 10-tail. And then, before disappearing, he divided it into tailed creatures. I see. So what? The girl carefully looked at the blonde. He only smiled a little. He's weird. Even knowing that he is in agony, he smiles. He's definitely not like everyone else. And that makes me like it even more. I want him, so. Yoruichi, pull yourself together. You're a Shinigami. You can do it. They came back. Konan smiled slightly as she looked at the blonde man. She's going to talk to him today. And let him tell her what he thinks. Already a good stack appeared next to Hayumi. Naruto created 24 clones and began to study the selected ones. The first scroll yielded nothing. Ordinary jutsu for Irionans. The second and third were less interesting. But the fourth one really interested the guy that he began to read it, the technique of intertemporal displacement. For this technique, you need the arc of life. Or if you are Uzumaki, then you don't have to worry about the chakra. In order to summon the portal, you need to add 20 seals. At the same time, you need to have an excellent command of the chakra. Otherwise, you may be thrown into the unknown. When the portal appeared, help is needed in maintaining its integrity. It is best to take another person with you. When entering the portal, you should not have anything stabbing and cutting with you. Then there was a description of the seals and what to do. Naruto copied this scroll. If everything is done correctly, then everything will turn out without a hitch. Without a hitch, Naruto said he found what he needed. Now you need to go back to the organization. It's already the second day of the journey. And they're still coming. Naruto is silent. This strange girl, too. But sometimes she looks at him. This look is familiar to her. She has the same one. This guy is a magnet. Sirens used to attract men to crash their ship, but now it attracts everyone. Naruto, can I talk to you? Konan looked at the blonde man. He started up and went to the side with the girl. Yoruichi just shrugged her shoulders. Please tell me, how do you feel about me? It is very important for me to know this. The girl's cheeks flamed. How do I feel about you? Very good. And in terms of how is the girl? Hayumi's face flushed. What? The blonde man's face fell, probably as a friend. But no more. I love Yugito. Konan lowered her eyes sadly. Naruto understood what she wanted from him. Yes, I would like that too. But how can I change Yugi? Listen, when you get home, you will talk to Yugito. If she agrees, then I will agree. Okay, the girl's eyes shone. Finally. After all these years, but the guys did not know that they had been overheard. Yoru had a well-developed hearing. That bitch, she thought to herself. Organization. Yoruichi carefully observed everyone in front of her. That's it. What is not Naruto's journey, so brings a new girl. Kisame laughed merrily. All those sitting also supported the blue-skinned man with laughter. The blonde only shook his head. The guy went to his room. He urgently needed a discharge. Opened the door, entered, closed. Yugito sat on the bed and hugged her knees. Yugi? The blonde man called softly. The girl looked at the newcomer and beamed. Naru. Yugito threw herself on the guy's neck. And then she wrapped her legs around the guy's torso and passionately kissed him. Naruto didn't have to wait long. He got rid of his clothes and attacked the girl like a hungry man. The heated bodies of the couple intertwined and both gave themselves to each other. 3 hours have passed. Naru, you're a beast. I can't get up now, the blonde just laughed and kissed the girl. If this continues, I won't be able to walk anymore. Probably need to find a second girl. The girl was horrified at first. Sharing her blonde with someone? No way. But then more and more inclined to this idea, maybe he can spend some time with Konan. I saw with what eyes she looked at him. I'll help her. Deciding that it was time to go to sleep, Yugito fell into a dream. But the blonde couldn't sleep. Slowly the guy got up from the bed. He covered the girl with a blanket. He himself recovered to the kitchen. As it turned out, he wasn't the only one awake. Yoruichi was also sitting there. Tears slowly flowed from the girl's eyes. But there were no sobs. Naruto came up behind her and hugged her. The girl, feeling the touch, wanted to escape. But it wasn't there. The blonde's strength has increased. It felt like a rock was hugging you. But he wasn't cold. It was warm. Gradually she calmed down. Naruto came over and sat down next to her. I understand what it's like to lose all the people close to you in one moment. Fool, the girl hit the guy in the chest, but immediately withdrew her hand. She couldn't do that to him. And the arms of Yoru fell asleep. And the blonde never closed his eyes. Morning, everyone began to pull up to the kitchen. An oil painting was waiting for them here. A blonde man and a girl with purple hair. And the blonde was not sleeping, there were dark circles under his eyes. He turned his head slowly. And he called Itachi over. Look after her. Sit in my seat. Just don't wake me up. Itachi nodded understandingly. Naruto slowly staggered off to Pain's office. Opened the doors, entered, closed. Nagato, I have some good news. I found what I needed. The piece of iron with Nagato stood in the middle of the office, which surprised the blonde very much. Yes, it's very good. Show me what you found. The guy with red hair smiled, but when he saw the blonde man's face, he became serious. Here. I decided that I would go back in time and bring Yahiko back. Are you crazy? Completely froze all the brains with this Orochimaru? You're not going anywhere. Naruto had to convince his brother. He said that a mutation is in full swing in his body. And that he could fall into a coma at any second, and it wouldn't work on him there. Nagato slowly agreed. He wanted to see Yahiko. But he didn't want to lose his newfound brother. Okay. But don't let anything happen to you. Yes, I can handle it. The forced smile on the blonde man's face pleased Nagato. That's better. Naruto left the office. Shunshin moved to his room, and collapsed in his clothes on an empty bed. Who would have thought it would start now? He didn't want to die. What about Yugi? What about Konan and Yoro? I can't leave them. But you've been side by side with the fox for so many years. And he didn't kill you. You can handle that, too. Music started playing in my head. The song was perfectly familiar to him. And sometimes the blonde sang along. You won't notice how the years will fly by, fly by. People change and the gods are their judges, they will forgive everything. A small pause. The guy was catching his breath, then the words continued to sound in my head. Changing before our eyes beyond recognition, whether it's growing up, or betrayal, and we will put on the headlights, and we will be as we are, one love, one life, one song. The pain appeared unexpectedly. The guy was twisted. His fingers dug into the bedspread. Nails dug into the skin on his hands. Naruto was bending at different angles. He was about to scream, but consciousness safely left the guy, voiced by Koji. Who are you? The blonde man shouted. Naruto was in his subconscious. A guy who looked very much like him was standing in front of him. The only difference was the color of the hair and eyes. They were black as coal. the grin that appeared on the copy's face scared the blonde. She looked like a grin. Naruto shivered. Where the hell is Kurama? The guy thought angrily. I'm here flashed, all over the subconscious. Now the blonde's half-copy also shivered. But soon a stupid grin. Do you want to know who I am? Aha! Can't you guess? The black eyes stared at the blonde man. I do not know who you are. How stupid are you, Naruto? The brunette shook his head. I am you. More precisely, your second self. And my time has come. Kurama. What the fuck is this shit doing here? Oh, and there's no need to yell like that. This arose as a result of mutation. Speaking of her, there has been a restructuring in your body. You have a completely different chakra circulation now. You've become stronger. Much stronger. You don't need seals. If necessary, you don't have to put them together. The fox finished his narration. I'm sorry Kurama and thank you. Is he going to be okay? Yugito asked excitedly for the 15th time. Yes, the restructuring is over. He survived and became stronger. Yoruichi took one last look at the blonde and left the room, leaving the couple alone. Oh, how you scared me, the girl whispered. A few days before that, the door opened. Naruto entered the room and closed the doors behind him. He walked across the room and lay down on the bed. The girl was upset that he was not with her. At first, the guy lay and did not move, then moans were heard, and then she heard a loud scream and quickly got up. Naruto was already unconscious. His body was on fire. Everyone who was awake quickly entered the room. Konan ran in first. After all, Nagato felt a lot of pain and sent the girl to see what was wrong with his brother. Sasori entered quietly. The red-haired man approached the bed and began to examine the guy. This is nonsense, the guy's body is changing. Besides, nothing can break his bones. They are harder than diamond. Sasori stood for a while longer, and then turned around saying everyone get out of here. Don't let anyone in, but... Yugito started to object, but immediately stopped. Over the course of a week, Sasori closely followed Yoruichi and took notes in his notebook. The guy noticeably tightened up. His skin became a little paler. The muscle mass has become very large. Sasori even began to envy the guy. Meanwhile, in Naruto's head, you know, I can take from you everything that ever belonged to you and belongs to you. And you, he pointed at the blonde man, you can't do anything. The brunette burst out laughing. The blonde man sat in silence. His face reflected all the pain he felt when he was still a very stupid child. This pain began to attract him. In the ANBU, everyone was taught to keep emotions to themselves. Don't show them at all. But now Naruto was beginning to understand in his subconscious what kind of shit he was in. Netaclan kept saying something. His face was distorted by a furious grimace, and with all the strength he had, he threw the blonde into a nearby wall. He was so badly burned that he did not resist. He liked the pain. He didn't resist. He didn't care. Naruto was slowly but surely sinking into depression. The corridors were quickly flooded with water. The brunette looked at the blonde. Some semblance of a smile appeared in his eyes. The more depressed he is, the better off he is. Kurama knew how it could end. After all, water does not bode well. The fox climbed to the highest place and raised his long tails. Naruto. Wake up, you little idiot. He does it on purpose. Wake up. Kurama was beside himself with rage. The water was still there. The blonde man was hidden from his head. The body did not float to the surface. Now the smirk has slipped from the brunette's face. Damn it. I killed him. The half-copy began to slowly disappear. The fox's eyes widened. He killed him. No. Naruto is alive. He will cope. At least Kurama hoped so. Another 5 minutes passed. Panic began to creep into the cold heart of the fox. Without worrying about himself, he dived into the water. When he saw the guy, he immediately grabbed him by the body with his tail. Kyuubi climbed to the highest place. He dragged the blonde man there too. The guy wasn't breathing. This means that Kurama will die very soon together with the boy. At the same time in the laboratory, the device made a long drawn-out squeak. There was no more winding line. There was a thin strip, which kept flowing. And the beeping of the device is too loud. Sasori blew up to the blonde. Check the pulse. That wasn't there. Naruto's heart stopped. The red-haired man began to give the guy a heart massage. Wake up. Please. Wake up. Sasori's voice broke into a scream. Yoruichi rushed into the office out of breath. When she saw what was happening, she immediately began to fold the seals. The girl trained a lot. And even though she didn't have a chakra, the jutsu worked just as well. She studied for a very good ironin. The newcomer's hands glowed with a silvery light. She put them to the guy's head. Later I put them on my heart. There are some minor changes on the device. The line quietly began to wriggle. Sasori checked the pulse of the blonde and could not believe his eyes. Naruto, you're awake. Kurama was very happy about the return of the blonde. Why yes, I'm dead, right? The blue eyes stared intently at the fox. No, as you can see, a smile touched Kyuubi's mouth. Blondlin smiled with satisfaction and disappeared from his subconscious. A week has passed. The guy went on the mend. There was no limit to everyone's joy. Naruto, where are you going in this form? The girl's eyes looked scared as the blonde was going. I have an unfinished business to finish. Then, I'll go with you. Naruto looked at Yugito carefully. Then he nodded and went to the exit. The girl followed him. The blonde man was standing at the exit. Konan was standing nearby. Yugito wasn't surprised at all. Recently, the girls have become very friendly. They trusted all their secrets to each other. And the blonde took the opportunity to talk to her alone. The conversation didn't last long. Konan immediately agreed, which surprised Yugito very much. They had been on the road for 2 days. Naruto didn't tell anyone where they were going. Suddenly, in the middle of the clearing, he stopped dead, grunted something, and then turned to the girls. Listen to me carefully. Now I'm going to go to some world and sign a contract with my animal. You're not going anywhere from here. I will be away for a maximum of a month, at least a week. Do you understand me? The girls nodded at the same time. Naruto smiled at both of them. And then he began to fold the seals. Board dog bird monkey ram. Summoning technique, the blonde man said and disappeared. The girls just chuckled. And Naruto was pulled into a place very similar to hell. There was fire everywhere. There were volcanoes everywhere. Oh, and where did it take me? The guy asked himself a question. Why did you come here, man? The voice sounded rather rude. The guy shuddered. If they speak so loudly, then what the hell size will the animal be? I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I came here to learn the hermit mode from you. I'm sorry if I disturbed you. So you have arrived to study? Good. But you have to prove that you are worthy of studying with us. 2 little dragons appeared out of nowhere. My name is Yu, and this is Xia, the dragon on the right rumbled. He looked mesmerizing. The beautiful red iridescent scales on it made me stare. The second one was yellow-red. The owner told us to help you. You have to go through a rite of purification of energy. Okay. If it makes me stronger, then I agree. Great, Xia rumbled, now you have to dive into the volcano." The blonde man's eyes became the size of a saucer. "But I'm going to burn." "You won't burn. Fire is the same as water. Only the water is cooler and more fluid. Magma is less fluid and hotter. You can handle it, you feel the strength in you," you said. Good, the blonde man said. "Naruto climbed the volcano for quite a long time. But I was able to ascend." The dragons exchanged glances. So the owner was not mistaken in him. He chose the necessary volcano. And this is very good. But the fact that the guy was slow. This can be fixed. The blonde man closed his eyes and took a step forward. The lava swallowed the guy. In the first seconds, the guy felt a wild pain. It feels like the body is melting. And then came the calm. Naruto felt an unusual surge of strength. The guy opened his eyes and was very surprised that there was a huge dragon in the volcano that was staring intently at the blonde. "You have passed your first test," the dragon said. The whole creature was black. There were only small stripes of different colors on the back and paws of the dragon. "My name is Long. I'll take your training into my own hands. It's important to me that you learn all the material you need. And now you will be shown our island by you and Cairo." The blonde man nodded. "Thank you, Inlong-sama." The guy floated to the surface. You extended her paw to him. The blonde man climbed out onto the shore. "This place is called Dalang, or simply the Land of Dragons." Naruto smiled. And he was beginning to like it here. Time passed quickly. It was necessary to learn all new techniques, but so far the guy only meditated on the urgent recommendations of the head. "Naruto. Listen to me carefully. You need it. Nothing will work without meditation. The natural chakra in our world is silver-colored. You have to see her spiritually and then you will understand the whole point. This natural energy. Thanks to her, you can see your opponent a few kilometers before his arrival." "Is it something like Byakugan?" The guy asked. "No. Byakugan, this is a dojutsu. Just like Sharingan or Rinnegan. What you get is a much stronger weapon. You need to call a spade a spade." A smile touched the face of a huge black dragon. "Okay. I'll try again." 200 shadow clones appeared in front of Naruto. All the clones sat in the lotus position. The dragon continued to smile. You, having arrived, folded her wings and bowed to the head, asked the question she was interested in. "Master, did you call?" "Yes, you have to help this kid. He, as I understand it, is not very good with kenjutsu. But excellent ninjutsu and taijutsu. He's very strong. We need him not to set foot on the path of the Black Gate." The red dragon smiled and disappeared. It worked. There was a shout, and then there was a bang. It turned out, the hubbub came from all sides, but immediately there were claps and the clones disappeared. Naruto understood the point. He dispelled all the clones. He was immediately overwhelmed by a non-human fatigue. But he persisted to the last. He sat in the lotus position and continued his meditation. The result was not long in coming. The guy's eyelids turned burgundy. He slowly opened his eyes, the pupil narrowed and became like a dragon. "Wonderful. Now you need to learn fire techniques." The blonde hesitated. "I have only wind and water from the elements." "And what?" "Nothing is impossible. Get into training. Learn how to move lava. Learn to walk on it. Manage to tame her." Naruto wilted. But he immediately cheered up. He also has a hermit mode. Ah, stupid head. How could he not have thought of that? The blonde man sat on the edge and tried to move the lava from its place. But it didn't work out. One more time. Again, nothing. That won't do. The blonde created 3 dozen clones. He sent 3 of them to meditate. so that after scattering it does not fall off. The others started moving the lava. Naruto looked down. And he screamed. The incandescent volcanic rocks began to move quietly. The blonde invested more natural chakra and voila. The hot liquid began to flow as if it were ordinary water. The guy, inspired by success, coped well with the rest of the instructions, which surprised the head very much. So you did a great job. So you still have a predisposition to fire. It's good. You need to get some rest now. Can I go back to my dimension? My friends were waiting for me there, of course. But not for more than 3 hours. The guy was transported back to where he came from. He saw 2 girls sitting under a tree. It was raining. It was a little chilly. But after the heat that was in the land of dragons, it's just a pleasure. Yugi, Konan, smiling cheerfully, Naruto looked at both of them. He urgently needed a discharge. Otherwise it would be bad for everyone. The guy created a clone and without asking permission knocked the girls down on the grass. Both were taken aback. But soon they were forgotten. The clone massaged Yugito's breasts and gently kissed her body. Naruto, on the other hand, kissed the blue-haired woman with pleasure and lust. She leaned forward, the blonde tore off her clothes and abruptly entered the girl. She screamed. But the guy wasn't going to feel sorry for her. He kept plowing Konan fast. Groans could be heard all over the neighborhood. The clone also abruptly entered Yugito and also began to plow that sharply. A cry followed Naru. What are you doing? Konan looked at the guy with a look full of pain. But he just grinned. On an equal footing with everything, the blonde's hands did not just wander over Hayumi's body. No. One hand brazenly groped the girl's ass, and the other managed to penetrate to the anus. Naruto's fingers rubbed the place, then one finger penetrated inside. It was so hot and wet, and so cramped. It was necessary to fix it urgently. The guy began to stretch the girl's hole with his fingers. She began to moan at the top of her voice. She didn't care if anyone could hear her or not. She completely surrendered herself into the capable hands of the blonde. Yugito, having already had her 5th orgasm and a stream of sperm spurting from the clone, lay motionless. How she missed it. Now she doesn't care. And the blonde plunged into the realm of Morpheus. Naruto finally got what he wanted so much. He turned Konan onto her stomach. She just purred something and closed her eyes. The blonde moistened the girl's anus with saliva and slowly began to enter. Ah! How nice it is! Finally, he plunged his organ to its full length and began to move slowly. Moans escaped from the girl's lips. Naruto finished and smiling by inertia continued to move in the girl's ass. There was so much sperm that it flowed over the edge. Naruto pulled out his unit. There was a loud bang and a satisfied smile. That's it now. Now he's going to have a great workout. The guy got up and covered the girls with blankets, so successfully turned up under his feet. I put up a strong protective barrier and went to continue to comprehend the Sannin regime. Yugito, you're doing a great job. A man in an orange mask with one slit looked attentively at the girl standing in front of him. I'm glad everything is going according to your plan, Jinchuriki Matatabi said like a robot. What a good thing submission is. He will do whatever I order. You can be free. Yes, the owner. The girl bowed to the strange man and left the room. Guys, has anyone seen Yugito? Konan asked anxiously. Everyone who got in her way just shrugged their shoulders. I wonder where she could have gone. Naruto, you've already learned the basics. But we have one very complex technique in our arsenal. We call it the thunderous roar. The power of the technique is that you twist the natural chakra from our world, that is, the lava twists into a small spiral. you add part of your chakra into it and you can attack the enemy. The radius of destruction of equipment is 1.5 kilometers. And they use it as a last resort. Can you call it Rasengan? No. Rasengan is similar to our technique and may even be similar to it, but the power of our technique is enormous. And Rasengan's is small. Try to concentrate the natural chakra into a ball first. It's easy. At least for us. Okay, I'll try. The blonde smiled and disappeared. I was definitely not mistaken about him. The scroll with the most dangerous fire techniques is ready. I want to see what our first contractor is capable of. The little dragon nodded and flew away. Konan paced back and forth anxiously. Where could she have disappeared to? Left them? No. Unlikely. Konan, come to me. The girl looked at Itachi in surprise, slowly approached him and saw the note. Konan, thank you for being my friend. I can't stay here any longer. I need to leave this place. I know Naruto will be in a lot of pain, but look after him. Thank you. What the hell is this? Itachi, where did you get this? The note was in the room where Naruto used to live. Her things were gone. The girl crumpled the paper and slowly moved deeper into the shelter. Naruto, your training has come to an end. You will be able to fully use the 3 stages of our regime. You know, you are the first and only person that the dragons believed for the first time. I would like to give you a gift. They brought a large scroll. Naruto's hands started to shake a little. Somehow, strangely, everything began to come back to me. Here he is at the academy. He is already on a mission with the team. But he gets the title of a Chunin. The 5th is very happy about this, but the elders are not so happy. As usual, they frown their wrinkled faces. And Danzo. He looks at me strangely. Something took me the wrong way. And that's why we think you deserve to keep your initials. And one more thing. We have one old technique. She was even before Rikudo. But we don't know how to use it, so we're putting it in your hands. Naruto smiled happily. The guy left his initials on the scroll. He was handed a cloak and one iridescent blue katana. The cloak was interesting because it could do so that the enemy would not be able to see your chakra. But about katana, the blonde had to find out everything himself. And one more thing, Naruto, I have a request for you. Yu herself expressed a desire to go with you to your world. It's an honor for me. I'll be happy to take her. A squeal of happiness and Naruto is knocked down by a small dragon. Thank you Nakuen. Slowly, the dragon began to change its shape. A few more seconds and an exact copy of Yugito stands in front of the blonde, only the color of the eyes and hair is different. The big dragon only smiled slightly. And noticing the surprise in the blonde's eyes, he hurried to explain everything. Naruto, dragons have long been able to transform. And we have a small feature. We can read the echoes of each other's thoughts. The blonde man nodded, got up and went to meditate on the top of the volcano. You looked strangely at the back of the incoming. Father, what's wrong with him? He hasn't seen any of his friends for a very long time. Therefore, I am a little saddened. The dragon nodded and removed the transformation, and then, spreading his wings, flew out of the cave. He doesn't love you. You're a mythical creature. I can't stop you. How can I help you? The big dragon sadly lowered his head onto his paws and slowly closed his eyes. Konan has been too silent these days. Everyone noticed it, but no one interfered. Nagato had already left for the mission a week ago, and he still wasn't there. Without a leader, the organization began to fall apart. The roar. Explosions from the ceiling began to fall. Deidara is at it again. Idiot. Yoruichi shook her head angrily and went to look at what was happening outside. Konan followed. Step, boom, step, a crack crept along the wall. Step, what they saw shocked the girls. Deidara, Sasori and Itachi are next to him, and Nagato is standing against them. Give up. Prostrate yourself before me, resounded loudly across the plain. It's not Nagato. Not him. No, who are you, who am I? Why would you want to know that? Surrender, come to my side and I will spare your miserable lives. Bastard, Itachi said angrily. Toby. I prefer Toby. Thanks for the compliment. A man in an orange mask appeared in the clearing, but Naruto killed you, this boy? Ahaha. Don't be ridiculous. Just cannon fodder. Moreover, I have a lot of meat. What about Nagato? Konan's lips twitched treacherously. She was left alone, the same thing Nagato did to Yahiko. You know, a live puppet is a very good thing. As good a thing as Nagato, as Yugito. Slowly Toby begins to take off his mask. There's a smile on his face. Only psychos have such smiles. What did you do to Yugito? Konan's voice faltered treacherously again. Nothing yet. Do you know what it's like when a stone presses you to the ground? And you don't feel anything, nothing? Do you know what it's like when you see how your friend, who promised to protect someone dear to you, does not keep his promise? I know all this. I have seen many deaths, and I have caused them many times. Or my puppets. Yes, I felt bad. I've been alone for many years. And you know what? I have a dream. I want to immerse everyone in an illusion and make sure that there are no wars. You're crazy, maybe. So what's your solution? Everyone was silent. It was clear to everyone that they could not leave here alive. No, the guys said in unison, my business is to offer, your business is to refuse. Finish with them. Nagato found himself next to the guys. 3 seconds, 2, 1, Banshee Tenshin, a gust of wind threw Deidara and Sasori high into the sky. Itachi was pinned to a tree. A long iron rod appeared from Nagato's hand. Nagato, wake up. Itachi's scream was interrupted by a squelching sound, and then a hiss. The rod was sticking out of Red Eye's chest. There was a hiss, which meant that Itachi had a punctured lung. Sasori and Deidara started falling from the sky. Nagato hovered in the air in front of the falling ones and used the same technique again, Banshee Tenshin. The guys were approaching the ground with even greater acceleration. The roar. And a column of dust. Itachi, wake up, don't lose consciousness, come on. The rod was immediately removed from the Uchiha's body. Yoruichi, and it was she who started treating her only friend. Naruto was gone for a long time. Itachi alone helped the girl, explained if there was something not clear. A few drops fell on Itachi's chest. She was afraid of losing a dear person. The wound on Itachi's chest began to heal. The older Uchiha wheezed, and then coughed. Oh, alive? Strange. Well, I repeated it again and again. After all, he has a lot of chakras. He's Uzumaki. Toby laughed. The dust had settled. 2 craters became visible on the ground. Konan and Yoruichi rushed to them. The guy's arms and legs were wrapped at unthinkable angles. Deidara tried to get up but immediately let out a scream. Sasori didn't move at all. The girls raised Sasori and Deidara to the surface with the help of chakra threads. The first began to treat Dei. Sasori opened his eyes by himself, got to his feet by himself, but immediately knelt down. Almost all of the chakra disappeared from his body. Nagato was approaching. And now he is already 2 steps away. But, good luck to Naruto. I'm glad I studied with you. The blonde disappeared in a cloud of smoke. But I'm going to miss this restless kid. The dragon smiled. A bright flash lit up the clearing. Naruto appeared right in front of Nagato. A moment, as in slow motion, Nagato's hand pierces the blonde's stomach. Naruto looks at Nagato with confusion and slowly settles to the ground. After the blonde, a dragon appears, takes everyone away. The dragon nodded and quickly began to move the people in the clearing. Nagato, Naruto, and Tobi remained. Naruto, overcoming the pain, got up and took a few steps back. The wound on his chest was slowly healing. The blonde man began to fold the seals and the clearing was covered with a protective dome. Tobi froze, and then about to make a move was stopped by Naruto. The blonde interrupted the tenketsu on the body of the masochist. Nagato fell to the ground. Naruto slowly approached the red-haired man and, seeing a small black pin on his face, extracted it from his body. Nagato took a deep breath and opened his eyes. Everyone stand down. I'm not done yet. Yugito appeared in front of Tobi. There were no emotions on his face. Naruto, I've been thinking for a long time why I didn't kill you then. And you know what I came to? You and I are somewhat similar. I've been alone for a long time. You were forced to be lonely as a child. I have a goal, you know it. Join me and they will all live. The desire is tempting, but I have to refuse you. This is bad. For you, a bloodthirsty smile on the mask maker's face. Yugito pulled the kunai out of the pouch on her leg and put it to her throat. Naruto, are you ready to change your mind? The blonde man was looking at the girl. A few seconds later he was in front of her, but it was too late. The girl managed to make a deep cut on her throat and began to fall on her back. Naruto, me. Love you. I'm sorry, and the girl died in the arms of the blonde. No. Damn bastard. I'll tear you to pieces. Slowly, the blonde's body was enveloped in a veil. Kurama, control over the body is completely yours. I need to meditate. Are you crazy? A maximum of 5 tails. If there are more of them, your body will begin to collapse. Stop it, Ku, it's all right. I'll be cured. Second. One more. A cover is formed. A skeleton appears. 4 tails were released, a 5th began to appear. Biju bomb, it flashed over the clearing. The black ball flew at Tobi with great speed. The 5th tail appeared, the 6th and 7th began to form. The skin gradually fell away from Naruto's body, a pathetic boy. Kamui, the ball was pulled into the hole of the mask. A blow, and the mini cube flies off into the trunk of a tree and smashes it into splinters. The 6th and 7th tails have finished forming. There is almost no skin left on the body. Solid burns. Naruto was hissing in pain in his subconscious. Kurama left some of his demonic chakra so that Naruto could numb the pain. Naruto collected enough natural chakra and red circles appeared around his eyes. Ku, can you give me control for a few seconds? Take it, I can't control it. He activated the Sharingan. Thank you Ku. Rest. The tails moved from side to side along different trajectories. Naruto carried on Tobi, and hit him with a chakra paw, but it passed through him, followed by a second blow, and this time successfully. Tobi was thrown far away from Naruto and pressed into the dome. The mask cracked and fell to the ground. Naruto approached him and grabbed him by the throat. Kurama, take his chakra, and you can rest. The fox started pumping Uchiha's chakra. A minute passed, another, and now Tobi falls to the ground like a limp doll. I won't kill you. You will suffer. The blonde man looked into Tobi's eyes. Submission. Naruto collapsed to the ground and the dome disappeared. Konan and the others rushed to the scene of the battle. Sasori picked up Nagato, Yoruichi and Konan grabbed Naruto by the arms. The blonde man was still conscious. The kickback came, the adrenaline disappeared and the pain came. She overshadowed all other emotions. Yugito took Itachi in his arms. Haiden and Kisame returned from the missions. Wow, it wasn't a fucking battle here, Haiden muttered and followed everyone into the cave. Naruto was carried into the room. Burns, big burns on his body. Yoruichi immediately rushed to him. Her hands glowed with a white, even silvery light. She put almost all of her spiritual energy into this healing technique. The palms moved smoothly from one part of the blonde to the other. Konan was sitting on the floor and staring unblinkingly at the floor. Yugito's body was lying on her lap. The blue-haired girl's palms trembled slightly. Everything swam before my eyes. In the heat of battle, Naruto used too much chakra to attack, and now Yugito was not much like her former self. Bones were sticking out of the body was covered in blood, and the hostess and Naruto and Tobi dot a tear, now a small trail of tears appeared on Konan's cheeks. In the inner world of Naruto, Kurama, it won't be possible to return it, will it? A grimace of pain appeared on Naruto's face. Why did you decide that? It can be returned. Using Ito Tensei, or Nagato technique. However, then in exchange for his equipment, he will lose his life. I'm so upset. Idiot. How could I? It's not your fault. There's nothing you could have done. The fox didn't know what to do, so he sat in one place. The blonde man smiled gratefully. Although it didn't look much like a smile, Yoruichi finished healing the wounds and burns of the blonde and sank to the floor exhausted. You need to rest. Itachi approached the girl and helped her up. He slowly took Yoruichi to her room and laid her on the bed. The girl's eyes immediately closed. The chest began to rise and fall slowly. Itachi hurried down. Nagato had already recovered. His whole body ached. There were a couple of deep cuts, but that's okay. He approached Konan and tried to talk to her, but nothing worked. He had already seen Yugito's body. He shuddered. Itachi, can I have you? The guy just nodded and they went to the leader's office. Tell me what happened? I don't remember anything except that I met Tobi and then the void. It's good that you were away for a long time. Konan was worried about you, and the organization almost collapsed. Uchiha's narration took about 2 hours. Then Naruto smashed the clearing and without killing Tobi lost consciousness. Nagato clutched his head. Damn it, I almost killed you. It's okay. I didn't kill him. Everyone is alive and well, almost. Nagato only nodded in agreement. Kurama, do you still have a lot of chakra? Still enough. Why? Can you treat everyone here? Of course. Suddenly, everyone in the shelter was covered with a veil. Who watched the last Naruto episodes will understand what it's about. Gradually, the minor injuries on everyone began to disappear. Sasuke's body from the splinters became normal again, for which he was immensely grateful to Naruto. Deidara's injuries, albeit slowly, also disappeared. All the fractures, deep cuts disappeared. Yugito's body was engulfed in red flames, but it did not burn, on the contrary. Healing was taking place. Later, in addition to red, blue, and black appeared, and Yugito, having completely healed, sank to the floor. Konan rushed to her friend. Wake up, damn it. But nothing else happened. The cover gradually disappeared. Thank you, Kurama, have a rest. You gave away too much chakra. The fox just nodded, curled up in a club and covered himself with his tails. Naruto even helps us unconscious. Nagato smiled. Itachi was smiling along with him. Is it really over? Is everything finally going to be different? Sorry for such a short chapter. But inspiration can be different. Naruto, wake up. Naruto, the girl with blue hair bent over the blonde. It's too early. We need some more time. Sasori sighed. Footsteps were heard and Yoruichi entered the room. You didn't wake up. The only answer she got was a negative shake of her head. Come on, the leader called to him. Something about an unholy resurrection. It has something to do with Madara. Madara? He died a long time ago. What idiot decided to make a joke? I don't know. They don't tell me everything. Footsteps were heard again, the door creaked, then quietly closed. Naruto opened his eyes. There was nothing in them. No emotions. A shell, a doll. But after a while, the look began to change, and soon the eyes acquired a black and blue hue. Naruto's inner world. Naruto, damn it, this is not funny. Wake up already at last. Kurama was shaking the blonde man by the shoulder. It seemed that the boy's head would come off a little more. The fox stepped back. Yeah, what the hell is going on? The walls began to change. Everything cracked, dark water appeared on the floor. The pipes on the ceiling began to leak. The blonde man's body began to turn pale, and Naruto, the fox's voice trembled. I can help him, someone said from the side. You? How? Kurama turned sharply at the sound of the voice. In front of him stood the same guy who caused the flood in the inner world earlier. The guy started to approach. His soul is leaving this body. But I can help. I'm not asking for anything in return. I believe you. Do what is necessary. Kurama stepped aside. The Dark One came close to Naruto, put his hands on his chest and said something. His hands began to glow with a dark light. This light absorbed Naruto. A few minutes passed. The Dark One took his hands away from the blonde. The skin color has become the same. Body transfer, the guy said, and he began to be drawn into Naruto's body. A pop, a bright flash, the Dark One disappeared. With Naruto, changes began to occur. The hair changed to become gray, the guy's eyelids flinched, his eyes opened. They've changed too. What happened? I have such a headache, my head is splitting. The fox was looking at the guy carefully. Now everything was clear to him. It was clear what the dragon was talking about then, about the path of the dark gate. I'll tell you everything later. You need to get back into the world. You've been out for 3 weeks, how long? The guy was horrified. Yes. So hurry up. The guy looked at the ceiling, tried to move his arm, the whole body responded with pain. Come on, you're a shinobi. Lift. Slowly the guy sat down, lowered his feet to the floor. He stood up, leaning on the edge of the bed. He took a step, another one. The blonde was shaking a little. Slowly, step by step, Naruto was approaching the door, and now he was already at the door itself, as it suddenly opens and hits the blonde on the head, causing him to lose consciousness. Well, no fucking way. Did I turn it off again? Holy shit. No, Jashin is mocking me. The ash-haired man quickly picked up Naruto's carcass and threw it on the bed. Seeing the bump on the guy's forehead, Hayden decided to get away, but as soon as possible. And again the inner world of Naruto. Kurama, stop it, I have a headache all over. Now my head is still. Well, you, me, haha. I can't do it anymore. And the fox went into a fit of new laughter. Naruto pointedly turned away. Okay, don't be offended. Kurama was still chuckling. Naruto opened his eyes again, slowly got up and gathered to the door, remembering the past mistake, moved to the edge of the door jamb. Slowly opened the doors. No one. Silence greeted Naruto. He went through every room. There was no one there. Probably everything is at Nagato's, the blonde man said out loud and went to his office. A few minutes later. So you think he'll need Toby? But why? I dug into his head. His name is not Toby, but Obito. Oh, how many mental bookmarks he had there. You won't wish it on the enemy. The leader is closer to the point. Please. Deidara did not patiently shift from one foot to the other. Well, in general, the fact is that Madara is going to use Obito to immerse the whole world in eternal Tsukiyomi. Is it possible to use fucking understandable language? Hayden intervened. Nagato rubbed his temples tiredly. He is going to plunge the whole world into an illusion where, in his opinion, there will be no wars. And what are you suggesting? Naruto entered the office. Everyone looked at him in surprise. Something has changed in him. I propose to introduce Obito to him, and the moment he absorbs the ten-tail, Obito attacks Madara. You can help him. So this has been sorted out so far. Further, long-dead people began to appear all over the world. They come and stand. Apparently, no orders have been given to them yet. Unclean resurrection. Exactly, Naruto. I know who's behind this. Does the name Yakushi Kabuto mean anything to you? He works for Orochimaru. Not anymore. He left him. And Naruto, I have to disappoint you. Jiraiya died. He was killed by the shinobi of the stone. Naruto didn't show any emotion. He just turned around and walked to the exit. Everyone remained in their places. Everyone is free. Konan, Yoruichi, stay. Nagato, what do you want? There are many victims in the village hidden in the foliage after the stone attack. You will go to help them. Konan nodded. Yoruichi looked thoughtfully at Nagato, then went out for Konan. Naruto almost went to the exit when he saw Obito sitting with an absent look. Look into my eyes. Obito obeyed. Naruto began to dig into his head. It's just like Nagato said. Except for one but. Madara will be resurrected not by who he was. He will be stronger many times over. 2 months have passed. Naruto, watch out. The blonde dodged the wooden stakes flying at him in time. The battle was in full swing. Guy and Kakashi were now next to Naruto. Kakashi, you know that Obito doesn't need to be touched? Kakashi nodded. Naruto went to the side of the 5 Kage, Granny Tsunade. I'll explain a few things to you now. First, you need to go to the shelter, find Kabuto and destroy it. He is in charge of all these deceased now. Second, Itachi and Orochimaru will go with you. Is everything clear, Naruto? We understand you. Then let's get on the road. 5 Kage, and with them Itachi and Orochimaru went to the shelter of Kabuto. Naruto returned to the battlefield. The ten-tailed one stirred again. Again, wooden stakes flew in different directions. Naruto provided everyone who was on the field with a cover. He himself rushed to the attack. Come on, Obito, hurry up. Suddenly, everything began to tighten into one point. The ten-tail was sealed in an Obito, finally. Madara's voice rang through the clearing. Naruto hurried to Obito, who was lying motionless. The changes have already begun. The color of the skin began to change, horns appeared. But something was wrong. The blonde penetrated into the inner world of Obito. What appeared before his eyes shocked him. The body of the ten-tailed was wrapped around the whole body of the Uchiha. It tore the body of Obito. Naruto used chakra lapse to restrain the tentacles. Come on, hurry up, I'm trying. I need time. A cry escaped Obito's lips. His arm was torn off and dragged to the side. His other arm was torn off. Another cry of pain. The leg was torn off. Naruto held on with the last of his strength. Hurry up. But he didn't hear Naruto. Pain, and memories came. About Rin, Kakashi and Minato-sensei. I remembered that photo. Slowly the head began to separate from the body. But everything stopped. The leg and arms came back. Obito subdued his demon. That's it now, voiced by Koji. Naruto, do you hear me? They snapped their fingers in front of the blonde man's face. How my head hurts. The blonde man slowly sat down. Of course it hurts, sarcastically flew from the side. What? Sakura, where are you from here? And will someone tell me why my head hurts so much? An explosion was heard, followed by the screams of people. Jubi. We need to help everyone. Yoruichi, gather all the wounded. Konan, help her. The girls just nodded. A picture appeared in my memory. Naruto and Obito are heading to Madara, who is recovering. The blonde creates a Rasen Suryuken and drives it into Madara's body, then begins to crumble with burnt pieces of paper. Naruto quickly sealed it. But then everything went awry. The seal on Obito's stomach began to burn and rot. Jubi was eager to be free. Damn, and then the young man you don't need to know, that voice. I know him. The old Sarutobi? An affirmative nod of the head. Son, I believed in you. Kushina is proud of you, father. But I failed. I didn't save Neji, Obito. Hinata. I didn't have time. Damn it. I didn't have time. Naruto, I don't know what to say in such a situation. But you have to help the others. Your friends died defending themselves. The blonde man stood up. Anger boiled in him. Minato, do you feel it too? Yes, it seems it's going to be bad now, a pitiful man, what he brought his son to. Wait. Something important is about to happen, okay Kyubi. Father, I need the second part of Kurama, the evil part of him. What? Have you lost your mind completely? It looks like you've been hit so hard on the ground. Second, please be quiet. Why? Naruto's jaw muscles began to play. Later, anger flashed, and after it a faint smile appeared. I'll explain everything now. But first a question. Did Orochimaru resurrect Jiraiya? Of course, where is he now? Can you say for sure, how where? Fights alongside Orochimaru, Tsunade, and the rest of the Kage. Okay, the blonde man sat down on the ground and began to meditate. This time in his head, Ino, I need your help. Hi, how can I help? Get me Jiraiya. A few seconds passed. Naruto, a slightly surprised voice. And you don't get sick, Ero-sanin. You need to come to me. There is an important matter. Okay, wait. I am the head of the blonde coup. How do you think we will cope? I'm talking about the power that awaits us. It's a 50-50 chance, I see. Listen, do you remember that modified Ito Tensei? Yes, how can I forget him? I ate so much chakra that I walked like a yard cat for a month. I've been thinking. We need to resurrect Yahiko. Why? To connect the old team. Well, we could also use some help. Too much Zetsu. Kurama just chuckled thoughtfully. Naruto, we've done everything, all right. Konan, print Yahiko's body. The blue-haired woman took out a scroll. After a few seconds the body of the red-haired man lay on the ground. Ito Tensei modification, the blonde man said and hit Yahiko's body with his hand. The red-haired man glowed with a golden light, and then his eyelids fluttered and his eyes opened. Welcome to the world of the living. Naruto smiled sourly. Konan breathed a sigh of relief. The world has changed a lot, flashed through the red-haired man's head. Yahiko, do you hear me? Fingers flashed in front of the guy's face, then a click was heard. Yes, I can hear you. What did you want? I repeat. Thanks to the fact that you have been resurrected, you now have a huge amount of chakra, and over time, but it will become less. I need your help. You will help Jiraiya to reprint the second half of the Kubi, into me. Yeah, the baby was definitely not weakly attached to Mother Earth. The second one, stop it already, Minato said wearily. Flash. And Jiraiya appeared in front of everyone. Naruto, it could be dangerous, the newcomer said warningly. I understand. But you need to try. I can't handle it without a whole cube. Okay, let's get started. Minato, turn the seal on your body. The blonde man did what was required of him. Naruto, repeat the same steps. A maroon chakra began to come out of Minato and thicken, gradually turning into a fox. The last drop disappeared from the blonde's body and he sank to the ground. Naruto, ready? A nod from the smaller blonde. Sealing technique, said the Toad Sannin, after which he touched Naruto with his hand. The dark chakra began to tighten into the seal on the blonde's stomach. In a few more minutes, the last particle was dragged into Naruto. At first nothing happened. After that, there was such a huge force from the blonde, which meant that the dark and light sides of the Kubi were connected. I feel strange, Naruto said slowly. He was enveloped by an orange-red chakra with here and there flashing tongues of black flame. A cloak of chakra was formed, and hieroglyphs were clearly visible on it. Naruto, ki, said Konan. Oh, I'm sorry, I still have a bad control over this force. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Naruto, look out, everyone take cover. Jiraiya shouted, what the? The blonde turned around and froze. A jubi bomb was flying at him, but it had a strange shape, flattened and curved. Jiraiya folded several seals and a stone wall 4 times the height of a man began to grow out of the ground. Everyone hid behind her. Hit. The roar. The earth trembled, it seemed that it would crack, but soon everything quieted down, dust slowly began to settle. That's enough of this. I won't forgive you. Angry Naruto rushed to Biju. 2 huge Rasen shurikens appeared in his hands, 2 blonde clones added more chakras, and now the technique is already half the size of Biju. The blonde was already close enough to Tsubi. 2 Rasen shurikens slammed into the side of the ten-tailed, the roar deafened the battlefield. Naruto's ears were stuck. There were 2 huge holes in Jubi's body. The beast fell to the ground, its roar did not end at the same time. Another copy was explaining to the others what to do next. Naruto, you're crazy, there is no other way out, you will burst from such force, I know. If so, I'll drag this thing with me. Jiraiya, you have to put such a seal that if I die, then the ten-tailed one will die. The white-haired shinobi only nodded. He knew that if Naruto was up to something, you couldn't argue with him. Everyone heard the roar. This is our chance. Hurry up, while there is time. Flash and everyone is standing next to Naruto. Toad Sannin without further ado began to fold the seals. The blonde turned the seal again. Kurama, you can be free, idiot. I've been through so much with you and I will be until the last. Okay, thanks. Naruto smiled in all 32 teeth. Slowly, Jubi was being sucked into the blonde seal. Ten-tailed was almost regenerated and began to break out. Wind and dust flew into Naruto and those standing nearby. An unexpected swing of Jubi's paw. At first there was a misunderstanding, then everyone except Naruto's eyes widened. The blonde man fell to the side. His legs were missing up to his knees. Blood gushed from the wounds like a fountain. Sakura came to her senses. Quickly began to heal the wounds of the blonde. Stop the bleeding, There was an inhuman cry of pain. Naruto recovered from the shock. Sakura shuddered, but continued to tighten the wounds. Naruto, hold on from one side. Konan knelt down from the other. Yoruichi. The girls began to pour the chakra into the body of the blonde. Naruto's eyes slowly closed, the body began to cramp. The strongest Biju was sucked into Naruto. Thin trickles flowed down the girls' faces. They were crying. Minato, look. What kind of future did you want? If you hadn't sealed a demon into your son, then none of this would have happened, damn it. What were you thinking about then? Jiraiya glared furiously at the 4th. I wanted to protect the village. I didn't think, right? You didn't think shit. He's about to go into a coma. Tsunade needs to get here as soon as possible. What? We have won. We won. Shouts of joy were heard here and there. Everyone congratulated each other. Simple shinobi turned to the place where the demon disappeared and began to quiet down. Tsunade put Naruto into a coma. The legs were much more difficult. They could not be restored. Since the Jubi chakra was poisonous and the chakra canals were vessels, the capillars simply burned out. Everyone was watching what was happening. Everyone felt bad. We have everything, but at the same time, nothing. Dark. Painfully. Scared? No, it's not scary. I've been tired of being afraid of everything for a long time. Something with the legs. I don't think I can feel them. What happened? The blond man was in a huge room. There was only darkness all around. He slowly opened his eyes, held his palm in front of them several times. A glitch? He held his palm a few more times. No, not a glitch. Am I dead? He began to touch his body with his palms, sank to his knees. Knees. There are none. Not anymore, your mother. I tried to create something from the chakra. Nothing works out. It's as if all the chakra flows are blocked in the body or there are none at all, so he's dead after all. Suddenly, the room was illuminated from all sides. Light poured from everywhere. You're not dead. Alive, but in a coma, swept through the room, in which there seemed to be no beginning or end. Who are you? Does it really matter, especially for you? The blond man was silent. A lot of thoughts were swarming in my head. If I'm alive, or rather in a coma, what am I doing here? Since you were able to absorb Jubi, there was a shift in the balance of good and evil. That is, there is more goodness. This is certainly good news, but it's also bad. Even though you're Uzumaki, even you can't hold back all that power. Your body can't handle 2 biju at the same time. Since you have 2 biju, your body will most likely burst in a few days from too much chakra. And the release after the rupture will erase all Konoha from the face of the earth, as well as other hidden villages. CSR. CSR Databayo, why do I need all this? I understand you had no choice. I agree. You did the right thing, but stupid. You know, I can give you a choice. You have several paths. The first, you keep the Kyubi, but I take the Jubi, and you live as you lived. Second, you keep the Jubi, but I take the Kyubi, and you live as you lived, but with a new Biju. The third, I can connect Jubi with Kurama and again you will live with a new Biju. Fourth, I'm taking both Biju. What do you choose? Can you strengthen my body? To restrain both Biju, theoretically it is possible. But then you yourself will recomprehend all your techniques, redevelop your body. Well, you'll have to be moved to the past. Are you kidding now? No. Almost not sure. But you can try. What do you choose? I want to keep both Biju. Okay, Uzumaki Naruto, son of Uzumaki Kushina, son of Namikaze Minato, you have chosen your path. Are you ready? A nod. Okay. There was some strange muttering. Then everything flashed before my eyes. Flash. Naruto's soul has disappeared from this world. Tsunade-sama. Shizun flew into the office. Naruto, something is happening to him. The brunette said out of breath. The fifth quickly jumped out of the office. Flying into the ward, Naruto froze. What the hell? The blonde man's body slowly rose above the bed. The blonde's body began to shimmer. A few seconds. Poof. A bright light illuminated the ward. A week later all of us gathered here today to pay tribute to Uzumaki Naruto. The hero who saved us all. The man who keeps us all alive. He was for each of us a personal sun that illuminated our path. He forced each of us to get up and move on. The fifth lowered her head. Everyone here echoed her. There was a moment of silence. Naruto was lying in the coffin. His body was white. Doctors have not determined why. His eyes were open, and there were rinigans in them. The coffin lid was put in place. Slowly, the coffin began to be lowered into the pit. A few minutes. The pit began to be buried. Sobs began to be heard. Hinata started crying. On the right side, Yugito and Konan were crying. Yoruichi was crying on the left side. A week before the incident, after the bright light was bestowed on the ward, Shizun ran into the ward and froze. Naruto's eyes were glowing with a violet light. A spiral was going through the iris. It's over. Naruto's body sank onto the bed. It turned completely white. The eyes were open. Tsunade-sama, from all the hidden villages there are reports that those who died are alive again. As if they appeared out of nowhere. Naruto, thank you. 5 whispered, that's the end of it.